Hello survivors, and welcome to another Nordic Ashes video. In today's video we are going to take an overlook at the brand new character Un. She is a ghostly character, brand new, got released just on the weekend. Gorgon Un, as well as the normal skin over there for you to take a look at. Now Un is quite an interesting character, very different. So starting relics, there's two of them, Phantom Claw and Scorching Flute, and the skill mastery as well. We'll take a look at there. So let's quickly do the skill mastery, and then we'll take a look at all the starting relics, or all the relics and all the ancient relics and passives that you get on the character. So with the mastery, we've got the innate skill, which makes it so that we can pass through any obstacle like a ghost. However, we only have 1 HP, and it's impossible to increase that amount of HP that you have. Now, when it says pass through any obstacle, the only thing you cannot pass through is shrines, especially since they have items on them. It just makes sense that you can't pass them. However, I do wish we would be able to pass through them once the shrine is empty, which you can't currently. Anyway, on to level 1, we've got Revive Mastery, so we gain an additional Revive, and then we're also able to pass through enemies, which is kind of spelled wrong, oopsie. It's pass through enemies when you dash. And then we've got level 2, we've got Claw Mastery, Scream Mastery, Burning Mastery, and Tornado Mastery. The Claw Mastery and the Scream Mastery is so that we bleed as well as scare enemies. Bleeding enemies and scared enemies will always take critical strikes. So if we take a look at that, reading, then the immunity destroy is going to be really good. That's going to make it so that enemies will always take critical blows, because we'll always be bleeding or scaring them or fearing them. Burning Mastery and Tornado Mastery gives us 5% chance of creating a flame and 5% chance of creating another tornado if the enemy is burning or frozen respectively. We then get a Speed Mastery, which gives us movement speed, which is actually massive, and then also Dodge Mastery. When we take damage, there's a 100% chance of dodging it, so we take a free hit, kind of like a shield, and then that chance is reduced by half every time this procs. So eventually you're going to have like not 0% chance, but you're going to have a very low percent chance of dodging if you have done it too many times throughout the round. We then got the Ultimate Mastery, which increases the probability of earning souls by up to 10%, depending on the level of the ultimate. So at level 3 ultimate, it's 10%, and then the maximum limit of souls is increased by 50. The maximum limit is 300, so you get 350 souls, and then when you use your ultimate, it releases those 350 souls all around you to deal damage. Next, we've got Shield Mastery. You gain a shield that deflects 1 hit. It recharges every time you defeat a boss. Now, if you guys feel like Un is too weak, especially for Ragnarok, then possibly we can take a look at, or the devs can maybe take a look at buffing the Shield Mastery to make it that it recharges. It accumulates the recharges instead of just recharging once. So maybe that's a possibility. I don't know if that would be too strong. You can let me know down what you think about it in the comment section. So instead of it recharging after every boss on Ragnarok and things like that, you can accumulate the shields so that every time you kill a boss, you get an additional shield on top of the one you already have. So you can take multiple hits one after the other without worrying about dying. Then we can go and take a look at the skills. Let's first take a look at her relics before we take a look at her actual skills. So we'll show you all the skills anyway. So we got the Phantom Claw that causes bleed, tears enemies apart. The base stats look quite weak, but they're actually very good. Stat wise, you want to be looking at a lot of damage, then probably effective probability and projectiles, along with crit, although you probably don't need crit because you get a high chance when the enemy's bleeding that you're going to crit them anyway, so that's okay. Again, because we do bleed with this weapon, effective probability is going to be quite a big thing. Then we've got the Ghostly Fire. This one is the one that creates fire on the enemies. That's not so big and not such a big deal. Same with the Tornado, it's just a tornado. Again, effective probability on this character is going to be very important. And then the Screeching Flute causes fear. So very basic, but we're going to take a look at these ascensions right after this, so keep that in mind as well. We then got the lucky bone, so when revived there's a 50% chance that you do not use that revive. If this is procced, then the percentage chance is then halved each time it is activated, so it goes down again. You're going to have like a 1% chance at the end of it proccing if you do use it that many times. And then it also gives us an additional revive. Deadly Necklace also giving us an additional revive, and then when reviving, all enemies receive X amount of damage based on your character's damage sheet number, and then we add an additional revive. Now, when you are playing the character, you can only take either or, same as with a Phantom Claw and Screeching Flute. You can only take either the Phantom Claw or either the Screeching Flute. You can always take both Ghostly Fire and Tornado Staff anyway, but these over here, you can either take the Lucky Bone or the Deadly Necklace. For me, I like the Lucky Bone a little bit more, just because we like those revives. They're going to keep us alive more than needing the damage when we do revive. Next, we've got ourselves Panic Charm and Moon Dance. Panic Charm is every 10 seconds. There's a 25% chance of applying fear or bleed to nearby enemies. That 10 seconds is a cooldown stat, so the more cooldown you have on your character, the lower that number will be. And then there's a 15% chance of duplicating the stats you get from chest runes and or your constellation. Now, what they mean by constellation is, I'll show you when we move over to the ascension. There's a 15% chance of duplicating stats that you get from constellation, meaning in the constellation there's also the cooldown, the area of effect, damage numbers and things like that, but there's also ascensions for our 4 weapons over here, which give us stats boosts, which then going to have 50% chance of duplicating as well. And then we've got a secret potion over here, kind of like a miniature Helga ulti. Instead of healing, because we can't use potions anyway, the potions will then grant permanent random stats. And then if you use the healing shrine and things like that with this active, you do land up getting quite a bit of decent amount of stats with it as well. So what I want to try and do, and I haven't been able to get it, is one, using things like this where your attacks can apply fear or bleeding is going to be very good on the character. So if you get your other character bonuses over here, that one's fantastic. And then getting things that can give you healing as well, so things like this, potions dropped from crates or enemies of a trend, that really doesn't help because potions on their own are going to be yours. But maybe something like this, yeah, I need to test it. I need to see if we can get an emerald bracelet on the character, because it says you get a green heart every 60 seconds. Does that mean we can get a random stat every 60 seconds, or what does that occur? I need to test that to see if it works. But let's take a look at our ascensions. If we go and take a look all the way at the bottom, because she's a new character. So we've got the claw. It says when killing an enemy, this weapon has a 10% chance of adding 0.5% damage permanently to it. Again, with the necklace, not the necklace, with the moon dance necklace over here, there's a 15% chance of doubling that stat, so you could land up getting 1% increased damage permanently from it every 10%, 10% of the time. Then we've got this, so the claws are melee, and then with this ascension, it turns the claws into a ranged attack, so it throws the claws out. Then for the other one, we've got Flute Bonus and Super Screech. Flute Bonus is the same thing, so each of these skills get this kind of bonus to them. The first one is going to be damage, then this one is going to be area of effect. The area of effect is only going to be based on the flute. It doesn't affect any of the other skills, so this is only for the claw, this is only for the flute, only the tornado, and only the fire. And then the other ones are for everything, but that doesn't matter. And then every 5 seconds, again based on cooldown, you deal X amount of damage based on the amount of damage that you have on your character. I can get this down to about 1 second without having a lot of investment into cooldown, so it does really become super. And then this is throwing it forward. And for the tornado, you have 10% chance each time it hits an enemy that specific tornado will increase its speed up to 50% chance. So it can get, up to 50%. So the projectile speed gets increased you know, based on how much damage you do, or based on, you know, hitting enemies. So the more projectiles you have, the more projectile speed and duration will then be important for this one as well. And then we've got Ghost Fire, which creates a wall of fire, along with being able to get increased duration, meaning that you can have a whole lot of fire all over the place. And it is a green fire, so French kiss to that. I love green, so for me it is fantastic. And then the tornado bonus is going to be increasing a projectile speed on it every time it kills an enemy. So that's the actual character. I just wanted to do a quick overview. If you want to see the character in action, come and revisit my channel again tomorrow for another Nordic Ashes video. Make sure you hit that bell notification so you don't miss any videos in the future. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think about the character if you've played with her yet. Let me know what you think about her and everything about her, and what your stance is on the character, if you think she's good or if you think she's bad. You know, what's your take on it? I think she can be quite strong, but for Ragnarok she may need a buff in the future. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe for more videos like this in the future, and always remember, keep safe survivors. Until next time, cheers.